I won a $10,000 jackpot. My entitled brother demanded half. I never expected that winning a $10,000 jackpot would turn my family upside down. It was just a little scratch card I bought on a whim, and when I saw the numbers add up, I was ecstatic. I told my family about it, expecting some excitement and maybe a little friendly teasing, but what I got was something else entirely. My brother immediately started acting like he deserved a cut of my winnings, claiming that since we grew up together and shared everything, he was entitled to half. I was stunned and told him that it was my money and I had bought the ticket myself, but he wouldn't listen. He went on about how he had helped me in the past and how family means sharing everything, even money won in a lottery. I tried to explain that while family support is important, this was a personal win and I had no obligation to split it, but he kept pressuring me, even threatening to cause drama at family gatherings if I didn't comply. It was overwhelming and made me question how to handle such entitlement from someone so close. I reached out to other family members for advice, and most agreed that my brother was being unreasonable. They reminded me that while family is about support, it doesn't mean giving away what you've earned or won, especially when it was a personal purchase. I also spoke to close friends who encouraged me to stand firm and not let guilt or pressure force me into sharing something I didn't want to. Despite the tension, I decided to keep the money and not give in to my brother's demands. The situation escalated when my brother started spreading rumors that I was greedy and selfish, trying to turn other family members against me. It was hurtful because I never expected money to cause such a rift, but I knew I had to protect myself and my winnings. I set clear boundaries, telling him that I would not tolerate disrespect or manipulation, and that if he wanted a relationship, it had to be based on respect, not entitlement. This experience taught me a lot about family dynamics, boundaries, and standing up for myself. After setting firm boundaries with my brother about the jackpot money, the atmosphere in the family became tense and uncomfortable. He continued to make snide remarks during gatherings, implying that I was selfish and ungrateful for not sharing my winnings. Some relatives tried to mediate, encouraging us to find a compromise, but I stood my ground, explaining that the money was mine and that family support doesn't mean giving up what I earned. I felt hurt by how quickly things escalated and how entitlement seemed to overshadow years of good relationships. My brother's attitude didn't improve. He even went as far as sending me messages demanding a specific amount, threatening to expose family secrets if I refused. I was shocked by how far he was willing to go to get his way, but I refused to be intimidated. I blocked him temporarily to protect my peace and sought advice from a counselor who helped me navigate the emotional toll of the situation. Talking to a professional gave me clarity and reinforced the importance of maintaining my boundaries despite the pressure. Meanwhile, other family members began to distance themselves from the drama, preferring to avoid taking sides, which made me feel isolated at times. But I reminded myself that standing up for what's right sometimes means facing loneliness. I also leaned on close friends who provided emotional support and reminded me that entitlement is not my fault. Over time, I focused on using the money responsibly, investing in things that mattered to me and brought me joy, which helped me reclaim a sense of control and happiness. The experience opened my eyes to how entitlement can damage even the closest relationships and how important it is to protect yourself. I learned that family doesn't always mean unconditional support when it comes to personal boundaries and possessions. It was a painful lesson, but one that made me stronger and more confident in asserting my rights. I hope sharing this part of my story helps others who might be facing similar challenges with entitled family members. As the weeks passed, the tension with my brother didn't ease. Instead, it seemed to grow. With him trying to involve other family members in his demands, I received messages from relatives urging me to make peace and share the winnings for the good of the family, which put me in a difficult position. I explained calmly that while I valued family, the money was a personal prize and that sharing it under pressure wasn't fair or healthy. Some relatives understood and supported me, but others sided with my brother, causing rifts that made family gatherings awkward and strained. My brother's behavior became more aggressive. He showed up unannounced at my home, demanding to talk about the money face-to-face. I told him firmly that I wasn't interested in discussing it further and that he needed to respect my boundaries. When he refused to leave, I had to call a family mediator to help de-escalate the situation. The mediator helped us communicate more clearly, but the underlying entitlement issue remained unresolved. It was clear that my brother believed he had a right to my winnings simply because we were related, which was frustrating and hurtful. Despite the ongoing conflict, I focused on maintaining my own peace and not letting the drama consume me. I invested time in hobbies, work, and friendships that brought me joy and support. I also made a point of setting clear boundaries with other family members who tried to pressure me. Explaining that respect for my decisions was non-negotiable. This experience taught me the importance of self-care and the power of saying no, even when it's difficult. I realized that protecting my mental health was more important than appeasing entitlement. Looking back, I'm proud of how I handled the situation, standing up for myself despite the emotional toll. I learned that family relationships can be complicated and that entitlement can cause deep wounds, but it's possible to navigate these challenges with honesty and firmness. I hope my story encourages others to prioritize their well-being and to remember that they have the right to protect what is theirs, even from family. If you want me to continue with part 4, just ask. The ongoing conflict with my brother took a toll on my emotional well-being, but I refused to let it define me or my relationships with other family members. I sought support from close friends and a therapist who helped me process the hurt and frustration caused by his entitlement. Through therapy, I learned valuable tools for managing stress and communicating boundaries effectively, which gave me the strength to maintain my stance without feeling guilty or overwhelmed. I also discovered the importance of surrounding myself with people who respect and uplift me. Despite the difficulties, I made efforts to keep family gatherings as peaceful as possible, avoiding topics related to the money and focusing on shared interests and positive memories. It wasn't always easy, and sometimes I had to leave early or take breaks to protect my mental health. I also tried to lead by example, showing kindness and understanding even when others were being difficult, hoping it might encourage a more respectful atmosphere over time. This experience reinforced my belief that while family is important, it should never come at the cost of one's dignity or happiness. My brother's entitlement eventually led to him distancing himself from many family members as people grew tired of the drama and his unwillingness to respect boundaries. While it was sad to see relationships fracture, I understood that sometimes consequences are necessary for growth and change. I remained open to reconciliation, but only if it came with genuine respect and acknowledgement of boundaries. I refused to be manipulated or guilt-tripped into giving up what was rightfully mine. Looking forward, I'm committed to protecting my peace and continuing to build healthy, supportive relationships. This experience has made me stronger, more self-aware, and more confident in asserting my rights. I hope sharing my story helps others facing entitlement in their own families to stand firm and prioritize their well-being. Remember, you deserve respect and kindness, and it's okay to say no and protect what is yours. Reflecting on everything that has happened since I won the jackpot, I realize how much I've grown and how important it is to stand up for yourself even when it's difficult. My brother's entitlement taught me that family doesn't automatically mean unconditional access to your resources, and that setting boundaries is essential for maintaining healthy relationships. I've learned that protecting your well-being and your possessions is an act of self-respect, not selfishness, and that kindness should never come at the cost of your peace. I also understand now that sometimes entitlement comes from insecurity or unmet needs, and while this doesn't excuse bad behavior, it helps me approach conflicts with a bit more empathy and patience. I hope that by sharing my story, others who face similar challenges feel empowered to protect their time, energy, and belongings without guilt. You deserve to be treated with respect and compassion, no matter who you are or what your situation is. Looking ahead, I'm excited to continue building a life filled with respect, kindness, and healthy boundaries. I'm grateful for the lessons learned and the support I've received, and I'm hopeful that my story will inspire others to stand firm and prioritize their well-being. Remember, you have the right to protect your peace, and sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most meaningful growth. Keep standing strong and taking care of yourself. You're worth it.